Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric. I got a very interesting video for you guys this afternoon because apparently Valve and Steam have been hit with some sort of data breach that's being reported all around the internet right now. While there are conflicting reports of exactly what data is in the breach, the basic tenet of this is your information in some way, shape, or form are probably out there. If you have a Steam Deck, if you use Valve and Steam on your PC or any other account linked to Steam, you should probably change all your information today. So I'm going to go over what this breach basically entails and what's being debated right now, because again, it's basically day zero, but the reality is some sort of information has leaked out of Valve. They've got a leaky Valve pun very much intended, and we're trying to figure out exactly why that is and what happened. But in the meantime, the best course of action, because I care about you, your Steam libraries, and your wallets, is to go ahead and change your password and enter in two-factor authentication today if you haven't already done so. And I will show you later on in the video exactly how to do that, just in case you don't know how. But basically, the first part of this video is going to be the information on the leak in and of itself, at least what we know about it an hour and a half before this video goes live. And before you go down below in the comments and yell clickbait or fear mongering, don't forget this is day zero, and I'm just doing this to warn people because I'd hate to see anyone lose their Steam account or otherwise. And it's one of those things, a lot of times these leaks get reported and day zero the company just basically say there's not really a problem whatsoever, and then a day or two later, maybe a week, you find out that it was way worse than everyone else had actually realized or admitted to. And right now we know that user information is out there, including phone numbers and authentication codes, and that should be enough to make you want to change your Steam password today. Now, the initial report says that 89 million account details have gone up for sale, and that still seems to be true. The question is, what is in those? Some people are saying it's usernames and passwords. Other people are saying that it is just phone numbers and those SMS codes for your two-factor authentication. But that probably means that you're going to start seeing a lot of different social engineering hacks as far as trying to send you text messages saying you need to log back into your Steam account or you have some sort of free code, because they now have at least your phone number, and that is definitely not something you want anyone out on the internet to have as far as this is concerned. So whatever was leaking was definitely leaking in large numbers, and I used a little bit of liminal core here just to go over the overall concept of a leak. And if you didn't know, Video Game Esoteric, when he's not playing retro games, likes to play backroom walking simulators. Very weird thing, but I thought you'd find that funny. Now, it is possible that there is some other leak that has your username and password out there. We just don't know yet, but the best course of action, the thing that only takes about 60 seconds to do, is just go in and reset your password, because right now, again, all of this information is just coming out in real time. So much so that I went in and redid the beginning narration of this video to update it compared to when I recorded it over an hour ago. So it is one of those things. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 games installed on your Steam library. You may have over thousands, and you would hate to see that library be breached. This all started in a LinkedIn post earlier this morning, kind of overnight depending on what time zone you're in, talking about this data set and how it leaked out. Now, as far as the vendors involved, there is still debate on that as well, exactly who Valve uses and whether or not they're even involved in this, but somehow, and the data has been confirmed, at least for the phone numbers and SMS codes, that this is information based upon Steam accounts. So really, we're probably going to have to wait a day or two to find out exactly where this stuff is coming from, but the reality is it is out there, and that's never good, because think of all the other data leaks that we've had in gaming and even other companies in the past. They are never good. A lot of people lose valuable information, time, and money, and it's one of those things. If you can just prevent it, you definitely owe it to yourself to do so. And even if you don't actually download games on Steam, if you just use it for stuff like EmuDeck or RetroDeck, emulating retro games, which is mostly what I do with my Steam Deck, it is still advisable to just pop in and turn your password to something different and then enter in two-factor authentication if you haven't, because that is basically, at least as we have it right now, the gold standard for something like a Steam account. I wish at some point in the future they would allow for YubiKey, so you'd have to have a key plugged into your computer or Steam Deck to be able to access your library, but that unfortunately just doesn't seem to be something that we have as of today. But again, your library is valuable, your information is valuable, so I'm doing this basically as a public service announcement, just so that none of my viewers and subscribers end up in a situation where they lose out on something that they have paid for, because it's absolutely a bummer when these things happen. And trust me, there's a lot of dark back rooms there on the internet where this data gets bought and sold basically every single day. And if you share your Steam password with any other websites, maybe just think about changing it, because honestly, these social engineering scams, these hacks are definitely definitely going to become more and more common as time goes on. It's unfortunate that people try to rip gamers off, but it seems to be a gigantic target, and that absolutely does bum me out because I hate scams in the gaming community. And like a famous Canadian once said, but a man's got to eat, Mr. Leahy. And if you know where that's from, leave me a comment down below because I would be curious. Bonus points for that. But these things just keep showing up, and it absolutely is a bummer. But let's talk about how you actually secure your Steam account if you want to do so today. So if you just wanted the news, you've seen it and you can click off. If you want to know how to secure this and you are a little bit nervous about what's going on, go ahead and listen to this next portion. You'll be good to go. How important 2FA or two-factor authentication is, not only on Steam but on basically any platform that allows for it, which is basically every platform at this point in time. So if you go to the Steam button and hit settings, you're going to bring up all of your different diverse Steam settings, and now we can go into security and basically enable everything so it's going to be correct. You will see obviously I've got some black bars on the screen just to make sure you don't have my information. It'd be pretty stupid of me to accidentally show you that in a video on securing your account. If you hit security, you're going to see Steam Guard, and you're going to see, at least for me, it's been enabled since November 2013. If Steam Guard is not enabled on your account, this is absolutely the first thing you need to do today. This is an extra layer of security, and no security is foolproof, but trust me, you want as much as you can possibly get. You can set it to get Steam Guard codes from the Steam app on your phone. You can set it to get codes via email, which will require you to re-log in, and you can turn it off, which I definitely do not recommend in any way, shape, or form. I do it by email just because I have an extra layer of authentication on my email with the YubiKey, so you really can't access any of my email accounts unless you physically have a USB-C key plugged into a computer or tapped on the back of an iPhone or other smartphone device. So that's what I like the most, but you can just decide what you want to do, but definitely make sure 2FA is on. Once that is on, you're going to go ahead and click change password. Again, the servers are getting hit hard today, so you might have to take 2, 3, 4 attempts to do this, but don't be lazy. Just keep hitting this button and the reset button until you get your password reset. That way you know you're protected. And I know we talked about the two-factor authentication data being in this breach, but I am sure it is not current. But just to be safe, do not use any code sent to you by Valve via email or via your phone number unless you specifically request them. When you're initiating this, you should get an email or a text within a few seconds. If you do not, and you get one a couple hours later, do not use that whatsoever. If you randomly get a link sent to your email or to your phone saying you need to reset because of a security breach, do not do that whatsoever. Only reset your information from within Steam in and of itself, and only use codes sent to you when you receive them at the time of you actually resetting your password. Anything else is just too dangerous right now. And when you do that, you'll have two-factor authentication on, you'll have a brand new password, and I highly doubt that these leakers have current access to all of this data, so you should just be 100% totally fine. But again, I can't stress enough, this isn't one of those fear-mongering videos. You want to do this, and you want to do this now if you already haven't done it, because just think of how many games you have in your Steam library. I have 169, and this is just the account that I use to review game codes that are sent to me, checking games out to see if they're going to make a fun video. And again, to remind you, it doesn't matter if you don't have any games installed on your Steam Deck. If you just use it as a retro emulation handle, which I know a lot of you do, you have an email address and a password with Valve, so it's all got to be reset. And again, if you have any of your financial information saved to Steam, especially if it's a debit card, I can't stress enough, delete that today and delete it right now. It's one of those things that takes 60 seconds to go ahead and grab your wallet, but it can take days on end to actually fix something if anything goes wrong and anyone breaches your information. And like I said, I've redone the voiceover on this because it is still the early hours and some of the pertinent information was changing, so I decided to come in and give you the most accurate information I possibly could. And the reality is, if this leak ends up being something that doesn't really expose your password, changing it took you all of about 30 seconds today, and you know you are secure, because a lot of times these leaks just end up changing as far as the information is concerned, and suddenly what didn't seem like a big deal after 6 hours of being announced ends up being a massive deal 24 hours after everyone says don't worry. So it's one of those things, it takes you half a minute to change everything, and then you're good to go into the future. And if this does update, if more information comes out, I will definitely run up a follow video as well. But it's one of those things, we're not quite sure what's happening today. We know some Steam information on users, about 89 billion has leaked out, and it can't hurt to make sure you protect yourself, because again, I care about you and don't want you to lose your games. But we're done. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.